In this lesson, we're going to learn how to accompany a very cool Irish reel called Porthole of the Kelp. It's also known as Farewell to Camden Town. And I'm going to show you some funky rhythms. We're going to go through all the chords in D minor. And I have Mr. Ian King here on the fiddle to play it for us. So let's have a listen to it at session speed once round, and then we'll slow things down, we'll bring up the chord charts, and we'll learn this tune. Let's go for it. Hey, it's Adon here, adoncoin.com, where I teach you how to play in DADGAD guitar. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about Irish music, songs, and guitar techniques, click the subscribe button now and the bell so you don't miss out on anything. I've been back on the road with Socks in the Frying Pan touring around America this year, and it was a bit different because we had Ian King on the fiddle with us, and he gave us this tune called Porthole of the Kelp in D minor, and I had to learn it. I hadn't heard it before, and I thought it'd be a good one to teach you here, so let's start with the rhythm. So this is a reel, but I added a funky rhythm to it instead of it being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and which would be the standard reel rhythm. I play it like this. So let's count through this. So it's also in 4/4 time, but it's a little different. I'll write up the exact pattern right up here if anyone's interested in going through the 1E and that 2E and that 3E and that 4E and that, and working out the rhythm like that. But I think it's easier just to work it out by ear. So it goes down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, down. And it's obviously a lot handier when the tune is playing and you're able to kind of get that feel for it. But I thought it worked and I thought I'd teach it here. So we'll go through it one more time. Down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, down. More speed here. And then I put a bit of muting in. So when the rest of the chords come in as well, it's not we're not playing classical music here, it's Irish music, so there's a few hiccups here and there, doesn't really matter. As long as the timing is right, we're okay. As long as if you want to fall back into that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that'll work perfectly fine as well. So I thought I'd give you that rhythm, and yeah, we'll move on to the chords now. So I'll show you the chords that I play in part 1. So I work off this D modal chord with the little finger up on the 5th fret of that low A. From here we want to make that chord D minor, so we just add in our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of that middle D. So that gets that minor tone in there. From here we can play around with some notes and maybe follow the tune a bit. So we have that. So here's that 2nd finger on the 3rd fret. We can lower then down to kind of an E chord. We have the E and the open G. And play around with those. So when we add that into the modal chord, just tonally kind of changing things up. And you want your right hand to be a bit more accurate and kind of just working off that inside D and inside G string. Just for those chords. From here, you can play a C chord. So So that is second finger on the third fret of the low A, first finger on the second fret of the middle D, and then third finger up on the third fret of the high A string. So did I say second finger on the third fret of the low A? Yeah. There we go, that's your C. So we can work from the D modal to the D minor, down to the E you're playing around with, and then C. The other two chords I really use would be this F major, full F major shape, so you're squeezing all your fingers in there. If you don't want to squeeze them all in, you don't have to play your fourth finger. I just like that full tone, that F, so that's second, third and fourth fingers across the third strings of the low D, A and middle D, and then you have your first finger on the second fret of that G string. We slide that then up to get your A minor, and you're lowering that first finger, so the first finger is on the fifth fret of the G string, second, third and fourth finger on the seventh fret. So going from your F major to your A minor, there's your slide up. So the chords I play around with would be the D modal, D minor, C, F major, A minor. So they'll be the ones I'll be working with in the first half and trying to use those to follow the tune. If any of these chord shapes are new to you or you're finding things a bit tricky, I have plenty of free tutorials right here on the channel. You can check them right up here or down in the description. And I also have a free cheat sheet which you could get, and I'll leave that up there as well. If you're enjoying things so far, do click the like button. It helps quite a lot here on YouTube. And let's move on with part 2. Now, there's loads in part 2 that I want to show you. You can get very funky. With octave runs and kind of these high shapes, hammer-ons and whatnot. So let's get through that. Well, let's start it off. So the first chord shape I want to show you is what I call the mid-minor chord shape. So it sounds like this. And it's movable, so. And it's very easy to turn this minor one into a major, so. One finger change. So let's go for it. We have an octave shape first off, where we have our second and third finger on the 12th fret of the low Ds, low D and mid D. Then we have our first finger on that is the 10th fret of the G string, and we have our little finger on the 12th fret of that A. We're muting the low A and we're muting the high D. Don't actually have to when you're playing this chord because it's a D minor. But just to get that tight kind of crisp sound, we'll mute it off. So that's the movable shape. You can slide it all the way down that same shape so that your first finger is on the 5th fret and you have the rest of the fingers are on the 7th fret, and that's going to be your A minor shape. So you have D minor up here where your second finger is on the 12th fret, and you have your A minor where your second finger is on the 7th fret. Just practice moving that up and down. So one change just to make it major, we'll slide down, so our second finger and second, third and fourth finger are now on the 10th fret, and we're going to make this a C major chord. So instead of your first finger being on the 8th fret, we want to move that up so it's on the 9th fret. That's going to be a C major. So that'll work. So we have D minor, C major. You can slide down to your A minor. So just get comfortable moving between those three. So you go A minor, C major, D minor, C major, A minor. then put in the funky rhythm. Or whatever rhythm you want. We're just getting used to the chord shapes at the moment, so once you're comfortable with those, we'll move on and add some more to it. So the next thing we can do to add into this D minor shape, just to make it a bit more funky, instead of playing that full C major chord that we did, we can actually just hint at it. We can put our first finger on that C note and hammer on. So we can hammer on and play our D minor. So it's just hinting at that C. So that's one thing to practice, just practicing from hammering on with your first to the second. Your second finger is hammering on that 12th fret. So that's how you get the hammer on. Outside of that, the next few things would be maybe octave runs. So you have this octave shape in that D minor shape already. You can lift off your fourth and first finger, and we just have that octave there. And that's where we want to find the minor scale. So with that octave, going down to your C, here's your A, your G, F, E, D. So just get comfortable with moving around those shapes, because it's a fun thing to be able to try and follow the tune that way. So I usually use that shape down here, with just that line. So we'd have the full chords down here, maybe the hammer-ons. So just that type of run with the octave shapes. So get comfortable going with that. Maybe take the metronome out and start little exercises like that, getting comfortable with moving up and down the neck with that minor tone. So I'll give you an idea of how I play that second half. It starts with the hammer on, down to the A minor, maybe the octave, back up to the D minor, and I would add in a chord here, which is a B flat major. It just pushes out the tune a bit before going back into that descending bass line. So just to play it again, just that section here. Something that you could throw in, that B flat major. So there's the chord there. So now that we've gone through those chords, let's have a listen to part 2 at a slower tempo, and yeah, have a mess around with it. Now we can put part 1 and 2 together. Just remember, part 1 is going to be mostly in the lower register here. We're going to be playing around with these inside notes, the C shape maybe, F major full lower chord here, up to the full A minor chord. And the second half, we're going to be sliding on up to this, maybe the hammer on. We have the mid shape, A minor. You can play that B flat major, octave shapes down. One thing that you might want to add in maybe is just, instead of playing the A minor here, you could play an A minor 7 like that, or like this. It's a bit of a tougher shape, but that can work as well. before descending into your octave shapes and down into finishing on that either D modal or D minor. So let's put those two parts together now. So now we can up the speed to session tempo, and if you're not comfortable with that yet, there is a button down here in the corner where you can slow the speed down and gradually increase it until you're comfortable with all these changes, because there are some big changes going from the D minor here to the D minor right up here. So something to get comfortable with, and increasing the speed over time. Do push yourself though and try and get to that session tempo. And now as a bonus, I have Mr. Ian King just to play it on his own without me distracting you, so you can practice along with him. Great, well I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please do give it a like and a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below for me. I will get back to you, no problem. I'm happy to help. And if you enjoyed that, do check out Miss McLeod's reel right over here. That's the next video I would suggest, and I will talk to you on the next one. All the best.